In the quiet darkness of deep space, a signal appeared. It was weak, broken, and old, very old. It came from a ship thought lost long ago. The signal carried a name, EV Horizon. For over 200 years, the Horizon had been missing. No one knew what happened to it. Some said it was destroyed in a failed deep space mission. Others believed it vanished into a black hole, and most simply forgot. Now that forgotten name echoed again. The signal was first picked up by an ancient relay station orbiting a dead moon. The station belonged to the Union of Core Worlds, one of the most powerful alliances in the galaxy. At first, the technicians believed it was an error. Earth hadn't sent a ship in centuries. Earth itself was no longer important. Once the center of human civilization, Earth had faded from memory after wars, collapse, and isolation. But the signal was real. When the data was decoded, it caused quiet panic among the Union leaders. The Horizon was not only active, it was transmitting from near the edge of a dying star system, a place no one visited anymore. The area was uninhabited and marked unsafe for travel. Still, the Union had to know. Why now? Why this ship? What was it doing there? A small scout ship was sent to investigate. It carried a crew of 4. Commander Silas, a calm and experienced pilot. Dre, a young alien tech specialist. Rana, a historian from the Aurelian species. And Fen, a security officer known for his distrust of old Earth stories. After 3 days of silent travel, they reached the system. The dying star glowed a soft red, pulsing like a weak heartbeat. And there, floating quietly among the remains of shattered asteroids, was the EV Horizon dot. The ship looked untouched. It was large and dark gray, with Earth markings still visible. On the hull, no damage, no drift, no distress signal, just waiting. The scout ship moved closer. Fen scanned for life. Nothing, he said. No heat, no movement. But the engines are warm. That's not possible, Dre whispered. This ship should be dust. As they hovered closer, something unexpected happened. The Horizon's exterior lights flickered on, one by one, like glowing eyes opening after a long sleep. Then, with a soft hiss, the main docking bay extended. It's inviting us in, Commander Silas said quietly. No one moved. The silence in the ship was deep, heavy, as if even the air didn't want to speak. But duty was duty. They suited up and entered the Horizon. Dot inside, the corridors were clean. Too clean. No dust, no damage. The lights flickered, but systems appeared. Functional. Dre checked the panels. This tech, it's from Earth. But something's different. This shouldn't still be working. They moved deeper into the ship. Rooms were untouched. Equipment sat in place. They reached the control deck. Screens glowed, showing readings no one understood. It's like it never left, Rana whispered. Like time forgot this place. Fen found the crew log. He tapped into the data. A video played. A man appeared on screen, middle-aged, strong features, dressed in old Earth uniform. This is Captain Elias Reyes of the EV Horizon. The man said, if this log is found, then we've failed. Or maybe we've succeeded too well. The video glitched, cutting in and out. Only fragments were clear. We crossed the edge of space. Something found us. Not gods, not machines. They changed us. We are not the same anymore. The screen went black. Suddenly, lights down the hall turned off. The team turned around quickly. Fen checked the cams, Silas ordered. Fen switched on the helmet feed. The hallway camera showed movement. A figure stood there. Tall, human-shaped, dressed like the man in the video. His eyes were glowing white. Then, without warning, Fen's feed went to static. A sharp, short scream came through the comms. Just one. The others called his name. No answer. They ran toward the hallway. Empty. No sign of Fen. Just his helmet lying on the floor. The figure was gone. Dre's voice shook. This ship is not empty. Silas stared down the hallway. The silence returned. But now, it was watching. The hallway was empty. No blood, no body, no sound. Just the quiet hum of the ship around them. And Fen's helmet, lying on the floor, as if he had simply vanished. Commander Silas picked it up slowly. The inside was cold. No signs of damage, no clues. He was right behind us, Dre whispered. This doesn't make sense. Rana stepped back, eyes wide. This ship, it's not a machine anymore. It feels alive. They looked around. The walls didn't look like simple metal anymore. Something about them had changed. Soft patterns glowed faintly, like veins under skin. Stick together, Silas said. No one moves alone. They moved carefully through the corridors, deeper into the ship. Every light flickered as they passed. Every door opened by itself, as if the horizon was watching, choosing what to reveal. Dre found the ship's AI core room. It was supposed to be the brain of the vessel. But this was different. Instead of wires and screens, the walls were covered in glowing symbols. Strange writing twisted across the surface, alive with light. This isn't Earth tech, Dre said, or at least, it wasn't before. Silas touched one of the symbols. It pulsed under his fingers. The screens lit up. A calm voice spoke from the walls. Welcome back, Captain Reyes. Everyone froze. I'm not Reyes, Silas said slowly. The voice replied, still calm. Not yet. Dre looked round nervously. This AI, it knows who we are, but it's talking like we're part of something bigger, like it's waiting. The screens showed a map, star systems, routes, and a single point marked in gold. Earth. Rana leaned in. It's heading home. Why now? Silas asked. Why return after 2 centuries? Before anyone could answer, one of the side doors slid open. Inside was a cryopod chamber. Rows and rows of frozen crew members stood silently inside, glowing. Chambers, men and women from Earth, faces peaceful, like sleeping statues. There must be over 50 of them, Rana said. Dre scanned the pods. No life signs, no heartbeat, but the bodies are perfect, like they were frozen yesterday. One pod stood open. Its status light flashed green. The nameplate read, Captain Elias Reyes. A soft sound came from behind them. They turned quickly. A man stood in the doorway. Same face from the video. Same uniform. Same eyes glowing silver white. I told you not to come, he said quietly. His voice was human, tired, but powerful. Rana took a step forward. You're Captain Reyes. I was, he answered. Now I'm something else. Silas raised his hand. We're here to investigate. We thought the horizon was lost. Reyes nodded. We were, but lost is not the same as dead. He walked slowly into the chamber, looking at his old crew. We crossed a point in space where time doesn't work like it should. A tear, a fold. We called it the veil. Dre asked, what's the veil? Reyes looked at him. It's not a place, it's a door. Something lives beyond it. Something that doesn't see time the way we do. He touched one of the pods. Gently, they showed us things, changed us, not forced but offered. We accepted. Silas asked carefully, why come back now? Reyes paused. Because Earth has been quiet too long. The galaxy moved on. It forgot who we were. But some things cannot be forgotten forever. The AI spoke again from the walls. Earth has returned. The ship suddenly shuddered. Lights dimmed outside. The dying star pulsed strangely, as if reacting to the ship's awakening. Alarms beeped on the control panels. Something's coming, Dre said. Another ship. Rana checked the feed. It's from the Union. They sent a second team. Reyes turned to Silas. You should go. This place is not ready for them. Silas hesitated. And what about you? Reyes smiled faintly. I was never meant to be found. As they turned to leave, Reyes looked at them one last time. Tell your leaders, the silence is over. They hurried back to the scout ship. They pulled away. They saw the horizon slowly moving on its own, engines glowing softly. The ancient Earth vessel began turning toward the stars, toward Earth. Behind them, the stars seemed to shift. Something had changed. Something was waking up. The scout ship moved away from the EV horizon, engines humming quietly. Inside, the crew sat in silence. No one spoke. Each of them tried to understand what they had just seen. Captain Elias Reyes was alive after 200 years. His crew, still sleeping in perfect condition. The ship, still functioning, but not normal, not human, not anymore. Commander Silas watched the horizon disappear slowly into the distance. Its engines glowed with light not seen on any known ship. Not heat, not fire. Something different, something strange. Rana, the historian, finally spoke. That wasn't just survival. That was transformation. Dre nodded slowly. Whatever changed them, it's not from our galaxy. Silas looked at both of them. And now it's heading for Earth. Back at the Union command station, their report caused fear. A ghost ship returning from the edge of space. A crew that never aged. A captain speaking of beings beyond time. The Union leaders didn't believe it until they saw the raw video. Then, everything changed. Across the galaxy, old powers started moving. The Ozari Empire, once allies of Earth, sent scouts. The Dralax Dominion activated long-dormant warships. Even the quiet species, the Seers of Thal, spoke one word after watching the footage. Awakening. But the one thing that caused true fear was the message. Before Reyes disappeared again into deep space, he sent a short, clear transmission. We crossed the veil. We carry what we were given. We are coming home. And then silence. No location, no request, no explanation. Just a slow, steady return. While leaders argued and ships were prepared, something else was happening on the horizon. Inside the ancient Earth vessel, the cryo began to open. One by one, the crew awoke, their names lost to time, their mission forgotten by history. But now, they rose with new strength in their eyes. Captain Reyes walked through the awakening chamber. Each crew member looked at him, not confused, not afraid, but calm, as if they had always known this moment would come. One of them, a young woman named Ashen, asked softly, "Is it time?" Reyes nodded. "It's time." The ship's AI pulsed to life around them. Lights brightened, systems aligned. New energy flowed through old circuits. The horizon no longer felt like a ship, it felt like a living being. The AI spoke again. All systems online. Destination, Earth confirmed. In the control deck, Reyes stood before the navigation panel. He pressed his hand onto the surface. The ship responded instantly. New star maps appeared. But these were not Earth's maps. These were far more advanced. They showed paths hidden from normal vision routes through folded space, shortcuts created by the veil. Time to return what was lost. Reyes said quietly. On one of the side panels, messages began to arrive. Not from the Union, but from older places most thought were long dead. Ancient codes, hidden languages, names not spoken for thousands of years. One of them simply read, "The Watchers are observing." Meanwhile, in a quiet system far from any known border, a fleet was gathering. These were not Union ships. These belonged to the old empires. The ones who once ruled the stars when Earth was still learning to walk. They remembered the horizon. They remembered Earth. And they remembered the warning buried in the oldest files. If the horizon ever returns, do not face it with force. Do not challenge it, for it carries what the stars feared most: human will. Transformed, but pride is louder than wisdom. The Azari launched first. A fleet of 9 warships moved to intercept the horizon near the Veil Drift. They were fast, strong, and full of weapons designed to crush planets. The horizon didn't run. It didn't fire either. As the enemy fleet moved into attack range, their systems began to fail. Target locks vanished. Engine power dropped. Shields flickered. And then silence. One by one, each ship crumbled. Not from outside, from inside. As if reality itself had let go of them. No explosion, no fire, just dust, floating where warships once stood. From the horizon, no weapon had fired. No command had been spoken. The ship continued forward. The AI whispered, "Defense complete." Inside, Reyes stood with his crew, calm, focused, united. "We were sent to learn," he said. "We were changed to protect. Now we return. Not as the Earth that left, but as what it was always meant to become." And far ahead, on a quiet blue planet that had forgotten its own power, Earth waited. Still asleep, but not for long. The horizon moved silently through deep space. No engines, no fuel, just smooth, silent motion like it belonged to the stars. Inside the ship, everything was calm. But outside, the galaxy was waking up. The Ozari Empire had lost an entire fleet. 9 warships vanished without fire or sound. No one could explain what happened. Now, other powers were watching. The Dralax Dominion sent probes. The Union of Core Worlds sent scouts, and far away, in the shadows of forgotten space, the Thal Seers opened their long-closed archives. They had seen this before, not the ship but the signs, the return, the silence before change. On board the horizon, the crew walked its ancient halls like they'd never left. Their bodies were stronger, their minds quieter, their eyes deeper. Captain Elias Reyes stood in the command chamber. He looked at the star map. Earth was no longer just a distant home, it was the final piece of something unfinished. Behind him, Ashen stepped forward. "The crew is ready." "Good," Reyes said. They need to remember who they were before we became what we are now. What if Earth doesn't want us back? Reyes was quiet. Then he said, "We're not asking." The horizon didn't look like an Earth ship anymore. It had changed, grown. Some corridors had shapes that didn't follow normal lines. Lights moved like they were alive. Doors opened without sound. Walls seemed to pulse with a quiet rhythm. The veil had changed the ship, but even more, it had changed the people. What they saw beyond that edge of known space was not just time or power, it was possibility. Back in Union territory, fear spread. Meetings ran non-stop. Old leaders demanded answers. Younger officers asked one question: should we stop it? But no one had a plan. Ships couldn't catch it. Weapons didn't work. And worse, Earth had started responding. Underground systems activated by themselves. Defense satellites, dead for decades, began to move again. In a quiet bunker under the Andes, a locked vault opened on its own. Inside, a glowing orb began to spin. It pulsed with the same frequency as the horizon's core. Ellen Rourke, the small space astronomer in Alaska, watched the data from her telescope. The signal from the ship had changed. It now sent one word every hour: awaken. She sent her findings to Union Command again. This time she got a reply, a single sentence: stay quiet. You are being watched. Asterisk, asterisk. She didn't know who sent it. On the horizon, Reyes stood before the crew. Over 200 officers and specialists, all once human, all now something more. He looked at their faces, calm, focused, ready. "We go back not to conquer," he said, "not to rule, but to return the memory they lost." "They won't understand us," Ashen said beside him. "They don't have to," Reyes replied. "They just have to listen." He raised his hand. The ship responded. A new course opened, not just to Earth, but into Earth, beneath the surface. Deep, hidden layers, made long ago by hands. Earth no longer remembered. Hands of its first builders, even before humans. Earth was not just a planet. It was a cradle, a seed, and now, the roots were waking. At the edge of the solar system, the horizon appeared without warning. One moment, the space was empty. The next, the ship stood there silent, glowing, alive. Union satellites turned automatically. Cameras locked on. But every image came back, altered, blurry, shifted, like the ship didn't fully exist in their space. Admiral Cora Vale received the footage. Her team stared at the screens. "What are we looking at?" an officer asked. No one answered. Finally, Cora spoke. "Not a ship. A mirror." "A mirror of what?" She stood slowly. "Of what we were meant to become." The horizon sent no message, no threat, just one path, a straight, slow descent. Toward Earth, asterisk. The horizon entered the solar system. No ship had ever done it like this. No clearance, no permission, no fear, just silence and purpose. Planets drifted by like shadows, gas giants, moons, dust belts, but the horizon didn't stop. It moved straight, toward Earth. Every nation on Earth saw it now. Not on secret screens, not in hidden bunkers, but lived. In the sky, a soft glow. Low in orbit, bright, steady. Wrong. People gathered outside, confused. Some called it a new satellite. Some thought it was a comet, but a few remembered old stories. Whispers, a ship that left and never returned. Inside Union Command, alarms rang every hour. Mars fleet was on full alert. Admiral Cora Vale sat in her war room with military leaders from every system. They argued again, just like before. Destroy it now. Block it from entering orbit. Force communication. But she shook her head. "We can't destroy it," she said. "It's not breaking through our defenses. It's passing through them, like we're not even here." Across Earth, strange things kept happening. Power flickered in major cities. AI systems slowed down. Satellites lost their focus, and in old places, forgotten bunkers, hidden labs, ancient lights turned on. Things no one had touched in 100 years. In the mountains of Tibet, a door opened in stone. In the Amazon basin, vines parted for a glowing structure that had been hidden for centuries. In the deep Atlantic, ocean sensors picked up sound, a beat, a pulse, a whisper. Awaken. On board the horizon, Captain Reyes stood at the observation bay. He could see Earth now, blue, bright, full of life. It hadn't changed much, but he had his crew. Ashen joined him. She said nothing at first, then softly, "It's beautiful." Reyes nodded. "Always was." Asterisk, do you think they'll accept what we bring? Reyes didn't answer right away. They don't have to. But they must choose. Behind them, the glowing sphere in the ship's core pulsed faster now. It was syncing with Earth, reading the energy, mapping every layer, unlocking what was buried. This was the real reason the Horizon had returned, not just to show Earth what humanity had become, but to remind Earth what it was. Back on the surface, Ellen Rourke, still alone, still watching, got another transmission. Not from Union, not from EarthNet, from the Horizon. The screen lit up. Not a message, a vision. She saw Earth from space. Then she saw beneath it layers of code, ancient patterns, roots of power that ran deeper than rock. And then she saw it. What looked like a giant shape curled in Earth's core. Metal. Not life. Something in between. The vision ended. She stumbled back, breathing fast. Whatever the Horizon was, it wasn't just bringing something. It was waking something. Far above her, the Horizon finally stopped. It entered low orbit. No attack, no voice, just stillness. Then, slowly, it released something. Not a weapon, a signal. A wave of quiet light spread across Earth. No one could see it with the eye, but machines did. Animals paused. Children woke from dreams. In every capital city, screens flickered on. They showed Earth from orbit, and the Horizon just above it. Then, a voice spoke. We are the return. We do not ask for power. We offer memory. Choose. That was it. Just one word. Choose. And then the signal ended. Some people laughed. Some panicked. But others stood still. Deep inside Earth, old systems finished unlocking. Old knowledge. Old power. Not alien. Not foreign. But Earth's own past. A past buried long ago, because it was too much. Too dangerous. But now, the Horizon had returned with the key. Captain Reyes looked down at the blue planet. They don't know it yet, he said softly, but they've already decided. Ashen asked, will they survive it? Reyes gave a long breath. I hope so. Earth was no longer quiet. The signal from the Horizon had reached every system, machines, networks, satellites, even the old deep-sea cables, long thought dead. It didn't force anything. It simply opened something, and things began to move. In Antarctica, beneath 5 kilometers of ice, a black tower rose, not from the sky, from beneath. It was made of stone, metal, and something unknown. It gave off no heat, no sound, but animals near it changed. Birds stopped flying. Whales circled beneath the ice, singing in new patterns. In Africa, an ancient ruin, hidden under the sands of the Sahara, began to pulse. Not light, but memory. Images, of stars, of humans with golden eyes, of Earth surrounded by rings of energy. People nearby felt strange dreams. Some cried without knowing why. In the skies above, the Horizon waited, still, silent, but watching. Captain Reyes stood before the ship's heart, the Veil core. It had grown brighter. It no longer looked like technology. It looked alive. Ashen stood beside him. Her voice was steady. It's almost time. Reyes nodded. Yes, and we can't turn back now. Do you think they'll accept it? They don't have to accept, he said. They only have to see. Once they see, nothing will be the same. Back on Earth, world leaders tried to stay calm. Emergency meetings were held. Old treaties reviewed. Military forces moved into place. But none of it mattered, because none of it worked. No ship could fly near the Horizon. No weapon could lock onto it. Anything sent close would lose control, gently pushed away, like water sliding off glass. And worse, Earth itself had started choosing. In India, a child who had never spoken before now whispered words in an ancient tongue, words not spoken in 10,000 years. In Canada, a mine collapsed, and inside it, workers found walls covered in glowing marks. The same marks seen on the Horizon's hull. In Brazil, a lightning storm struck the same mountain 12 times in 1 hour. After the last strike, a buried chamber opened, filled with machines older than human civilization. Ellen Rourke sat at her station, eyes wide. She was no longer watching a strange ship. She was watching Earth wake up. Her computer blinked another message from the Horizon. It was short. Anchor unlocked. Core memory restored. She whispered to herself, what does that mean? But the answer came faster than she expected. Her screens went black, then white, then she saw Earth, not as it was, but as it had been, a planet of light. Humans moving through the skies, not in ships, but with thought. Cities floating above oceans, mountains that opened and closed like breathing, voices, millions of them, speaking, as one. And then, silence. As if the planet had fallen asleep, the vision ended. Ellen gasped. She finally understood. Earth was not just a world humans came from. It was a world that created them. Not once, but many times. Each version stronger than the last. Until one version left, the last Horizon crew, and only now, they had returned in low orbit. The Horizon's surface began to shift. Panels opened, lights glowed, and then one object detached from the ship. It wasn't a bomb, it wasn't a probe, it was a small black sphere, no bigger than a child's head. It floated toward Earth, slow and smooth. Reyes watched it go. "It's begun," he said. Ashen watched the Earth below. "Will they try to stop it?" "They can try." The sphere passed through the atmosphere. It didn't burn, it didn't fall, it chose its path, straight, toward a point in the Pacific Ocean. Thousands of kilometers from any land. It entered the water, went deep. Very deep, until it found something. An ancient structure, bigger than any city, older than any map. A machine, resting for thousands of years. The sphere touched its surface, and then, it woke up. All across Earth, people looked up at the sky without knowing why. The stars shifted, the ground hummed, the ocean pulsed, and far below, a voice no human had heard in 50,000 years finally spoke. Core recognized, pattern restored. Earth returns. The Earth was no longer asleep. Beneath the oceans, inside the mountains, hidden under deserts and ice, something had awakened. The ancient machine, touched by the Horizon's black sphere, had begun to glow, slowly at first, then brighter. Its light pulsed through the deep water like a heartbeat. Across the planet, things responded. Satellites turned without commands. Old satellites dead for over 100 years lit up again. Buried structures opened, revealing glowing paths under cities, forests, oceans. These were not alien. These were Earth's own designs, forgotten long ago. Ellen Rourke stood on a hill, staring up at the sky. The Horizon still floated in low orbit and changed, quiet, but something was different now. The sky shimmered faintly, like it was breathing. Her screen blinked again. This time, it was not just a message, it was a voice. Captain Reyes speaking, not through the internet, not through radio, but straight into her mind. Soft.com. "You are awake. You heard us. That means Earth hears us too," she whispered. "What's happening?" "Earth is restoring itself. The version of Earth you know was only a shell, a safe mode, a sleep state. Now, the real system comes back." "Why now?" "Because now the cycle is complete. The ones who left have returned. The ones who stayed are ready." In orbit, inside the Horizon, Captain Reyes stood before the viewing window. Earth was changing now, slowly, but clearly. A wide ring of faint light now surrounded the planet. Not metal, not artificial. Natural energy. Something Earth once wore like a crown. Now returning. Ashen joined him. "It's happening," she said. Reyes nodded. "Yes, will they understand?" He looked down, thoughtful. "Some will, others will resist. But it doesn't matter. Earth remembers who it is, and that can't be stopped." All over the world, strange things unfolded. A mountain in northern Russia split down the center, revealing a stairway of smooth black stone. A lake in Peru emptied overnight, exposing a spiral of lights buried in the soil. In New York, London, Tokyo, people looked up and saw the stars moving, not randomly, but with shape, with intention. The system was activating. And then, something even stranger happened. People changed. Not everyone, but a few children spoke languages they never learned. Old people began to remember things that never happened in this lifetime. Some humans heard the Earth's hum, not with ears but with thought. They were sinking, reconnecting with something they were once part of. Ellen Rourke recorded everything, but no one could keep up. There was no enemy, no battle, just evolution. At Union Command on Mars, Admiral Cora Vale received a final message from EarthNet. "We can't control it, but we're not afraid anymore." And then Earth went quiet, not silent, quiet, like a calm mind after waking. On the horizon, Reyes stepped into the core chamber. The veil pulsed, like a slow star. Ashen stood nearby. "Is it time?" she asked. Reyes touched the core. Yes, we gave back what we took. Now Earth doesn't need us. The crew gathered, one by one. Not a military line, not a farewell. Just presence. They stood together as the horizon's lights dimmed. Not from power loss. From peace. We are not gods, Reyes said softly. We were just the first ones to remember. One by one, the crew began to dissolve. Not in pain. Not in fear. In light. Their bodies faded into soft particles, returning to the veil, to Earth, to wherever their new form belonged. Reyes was the last. He looked at Earth one last time, and smiled. Then, he, too, disappeared. The horizon, now empty, folded in on itself, a twist of light, a sound like wind in the stars, and it was gone. No explosion, no wreckage, just silence. On Earth, things had changed, but not in a way the news could explain. People woke up, lighter. Not in weight, but in memory. As if something heavy had been lifted. They didn't remember everything, but they no longer felt alone, and far below. At the deepest level of the old machine, a single light kept pulsing, waiting, not for war, not for orders. Just watching, because Earth was no longer waiting to be saved. It had already been found. ***.